What's up, guys?
What's up?
How's it going? Let's see.
I have a headache. I don't know where Jorge and Joe are supposed to be here.
Let's see. Actually, I'm going to take these out. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know where they are.
I think they, let's see. No, Jorge responded yes.
Yeah, and Joey said yesterday he was going to get on.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Joey won't be on, just FYI.
Oh, okay.
I just talked with him. He's 15 minutes. When he called me, he was only 15 minutes late to a meeting, but still not there yet. So, Alan, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Just living the dream.
All right.
Let's see there.
Pulling up some stuff here.
Wait, what is? Well, that's my default. There we go. Hang on, I'm just gonna close my slider here. It's a little too noisy outside.
Back in the kitchen.
Back in the kitchen.
I like it.
Clean dishes in the rack, as always.
Love it. I love it. All right. So I got a few things on the agenda today. A couple updates. We'll talk about Klaviyo. And then I want to talk about the pre-purchase email acquisition and nurture. So that's what we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't look like you guys have gotten much done there. So we can talk about that. And then Dorian, I saw you had sent over homepage. So let's talk about that design, kind of walk through that. And then I'd like to talk about kind of keep talking on the site design side, kind of working through that next part of the funnel, right, for your customers. So homepage, talked about navigation, and then after that, once they start diving into content and actually getting to products, I want to look at those so we can start talking about the layout for those. And if we have time, we can actually start talking about some abandoned cart pieces, but I'm not sure we're going to make it to that today. So let's run through the first updates here. So Klaviyo, talk to Dean, who's our Klaviyo in-house expert. And we specifically spent some time like digging in on like your flows to see, because the trick is like getting that first email sent is not a big deal, but it's these sort of circumstances where people are coming, they're buying the same product twice, or they're unsubscribing from a list. And it's something that it's not, his concern is that we might be able to alleviate some of those with Klaviyo, but you're still probably going to have a certain percentage of them that won't fire for similar circumstances, right? So his thought was he could probably come up with a workaround if he talked to Klaviyo and spent some time on it, but it's not like it's just an instantaneous fix by just choosing them. Your segmentation is way better, right? Because you can segment by product. It's way easier to do that, but it's probably not going to solve the issue around getting 100% deliverability on that second email. So that's the conclusion. So I think we should talk about, I'm going to have another conversation with him because he wanted to think on it a little bit deeper and see what the workaround would be. But I also want to talk to you guys to see whether or not we should look at some other options. He had mentioned what he sees work really well for digital product delivery is a tool called SendOwl. It's like send, SendOwl. But pricing wise, it's way better than something like Spently, but it's still not perfect for your solution. You guys are in a little bit of a unique spot just with what you guys offer. But this might be an option. Is using them to have that next email sent.
Cool.
And then I know right now your sort of workaround is trying to include more information in the confirmation email, right?
Just for the contest thing.
Just for the contest? Okay.
Because that's been the major issue. And mostly it's that people don't opt in to the mailing list when they order it.
Yeah.
And
right.
then the second email doesn't fire because they get transactional emails only.
Yep.
Which, like, it seems like there should be a way to do this. Like, it doesn't seem like it should be that hard.
It should not be that hard.
You're like, it's 2018, mail clients, email clients.
And there's so much stuff that, that are digital goods that you sell. And, and just to have, for digital goods, because Shopify's confirmation email can't contain the digital good itself.
Exactly. So that's what sort of send out was supposed to do, right? So I think this would solve, and I'm hesitant only because I've not personally used it. So I hate making recommendations that I've not personally used, but in digging in with it and speaking with him, it sounds like it's a good option. But then we go back to the Spently thing again, and I started to think, well, hell, you already kind of set up the Spently piece. Besides the cost factor, which is kind of ridiculous that it's $200, which is ridiculous. It's really high for what that is, especially if you're not using it to upsell anything else, and you're just using it to deliver something. It's ridiculous. But you've already got that piece there, and that was working and firing, right?
Well, but we weren't using it for a secondary email. We were just using it to customize the first email.
So you weren't sending anything else after that confirmation?
No, not using Spently.
Okay. So I've got a meeting with the dean again tomorrow. We're having a weekly meeting. So I'll bring this up again and see what his thoughts are after he dug in a little bit further. But I think his conclusion is probably going to end up being the same as it was, which is Klaviyo could work, but it's not just like the perfect solution. And he's probably going to end up recommending something like a Sendow that would be, it's going to guarantee a second email deliver, because this is built to essentially deliver digital products after you buy them.
Cool.
So poke around on it, and I'll talk to him again too, and get a little more detail about, just to make sure before we pull the trigger or anything. But I just wanted to show this to you guys as sort of the second option that we've concluded is one of the potential workarounds.
Cool. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the pop-ups in the email campaign. So last week, that's what we spent pretty much the majority of the time talking about. And then in Justuno, I uploaded those templates. Did you guys get a chance to play around with those? I also recorded a video for you guys kind of walking you through access to it. But I'm not seeing any changes made. So I just wanted to see how things are going on that side with you guys.
Yeah, we didn't do it yet.
I have a doc that I can share with you.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
I didn't know that it was actually in those links. Like there was a doc to edit. There was an email from last week. See if you app suggestions, see the PDF. Unless that came in a different email and I missed that one.
Hold on a second. Let me pull up my email string here.
But I mean, in any case, yeah. I mean, here I could share this working doc that I have.
What I had sent through after last week was I sent through the link for Klaviyo for Justuno. Then you guys signed up, and then what I did is I went in and then I responded to both you guys on the 31st, telling you the templates are in there, and then I recorded a quick video walking you through them. But you said you've got a doc that you've pulled together that's got.
Oh, you mean to actually put them in Justuno. I got you. No. I haven't messed around with Justuno.
Okay. Yeah. So that was the pop-ups. The pop-ups are run by Justuno. And then for the email piece, that we can do that in just a Word doc. until we flush those out.
Cool.
So did you say you had a working document for that?
Yeah, I just shared it with, should have just shared it with you guys here. I just pasted this over from the Google Doc. I'm wondering if.
You said you just shared it via email?
Yes.
Okay, give me a second here. Yeah, here we go. Perfect.
And I'm like on around email 4, which would be the, I know on the email flow that you sort of outline, that the doc outlines,
Yeah.
that email 4 should be like another salesy one, but my inclination was to actually just on email 4 to go straight into social proof.
Sure.
Because I think the idea for the third email was to offer, oh no, I guess that is the way it's supposed to be, right? Because the third email is supposed to be an engaging content piece.
So the way that we had, oh, that's right. So we are doing all 6 emails for you guys because you guys send a shit ton of emails. So content. So the flow is typically email 1 is sort of an indoctrination. Welcome, learn about the brand, give us some background. Email 2 and then email 3 are high value emails. So typically high value content of some kind that's going to get them to dig deeper into this relationship with you guys. Establishes you guys as the expert in the space. Gets them to engage. Maybe it's a free webinar, maybe it's a free download, whatever it may be. And then email 4, 5, and 6 are specifically sales emails. So, email 4 would be selling the benefits or features around whatever you're trying to get them to buy at that time. And I think we decided the open pitch, right, is what we wanted to do. So you're going to be selling the benefits of open pitch. Right. And email 5 would be layering in social proof. So you're still selling open pitch in that email, but you're doing it by talking about, case studies or mentioning the partners you work with or testimonials, right? So layering in the social proof for that. And then email 6 is what we call the FOMO email, which is essentially fear of missing out. You're giving them a limited option and you're taking away whatever that discount was. And whatever we determine that discount is going to be, we're removing it or saying it's going to end in 24 hours, something like that.
Got it.
Yep.
So for the landing page, welcome. I mean, I really liked, I think the simplicity of the one, I think it was for tap shoes, really captured it. So, on our last call, we mentioned that doing the free open pitch session, like raffle each week, is an easy thing to do. And it's actually putting front and center what we are, the initial Tripwire product that we are sort of getting ready to position to people.
Yep, I like it.
The exit attempt could be, giving a free webinar. I don't know, like, is the exit attempt supposed to be better than the initial offer or no?
It's just supposed to be different. So yeah, just different. It'll be, so what you'll see is that you'll have some people that'll engage with the first one just because it's compelling to them. So typically what I recommend is offering, so you don't want to offer the same thing because if they didn't opt into the first one, it's not likely they're going to, they would opt into the second one. So the idea is try to hit them from 2 different angles. So what are 2 different things you can offer that, if they didn't choose the first one, they would more likely choose the second one.
Okay. So there's that. I mean, can we take a moment just to kind of look over? These couple here. I think some of them, especially email 2, might be a little bit on the wordier side. But
take a look. I'll share my screen real quick just so we're all looking at the same thing here.
Cool. Oh yeah, we could read like a family. I like this.
Read like a family. Is that something your family did?
I mean, no, but All right, kids, it's
read like a family time. Okay. So what I would do too here, Jorge, just go ahead and put in your subject lines in these.
The thing is, I don't know. Subject lines definitely not my strength.
No, totally fine, and that's fine. So just take a pass at them, and I can edit them. But the rule of thumb for the subject line is just intrigue. Like, just it needs to be intriguing. And we give some examples in the templates that are just very generic. So honestly, you can start with those. And then, but it's the worst subject lines in the world are the ones that just tell you exactly what's in the email. Best subject lines are the ones
most
that
of my subject lines. Perfect. Good to know. Good to know.
So it's the ones you wanted to do is you wanted to hint at something interesting or something at value, but leave it, completely open to intrigue so that people want to open it just to see what the hell's inside. And the most important piece of all this is literally the subject line. So that's why I mentioned put it here, because it should be 80% of our time should be spent on perfecting the subject line versus the copy even, because if they don't open it, it doesn't matter. Okay, but content-wise, this looks fine. So a couple things that I would change.
All right.
First, I would definitely add like a PS in this. And in that PS, either you could do a couple things. You could either introduce since this is for the giveaway, you could actually introduce like a discount code or something that's going to be whatever you're going to take away at the end of the sequence. You could actually introduce it here. This is going to end up being one of your highest open emails in the sequence. So let's use this one and leverage it. And so you could introduce, even though you're doing a contest giveaway, you could even say, and by the way, thanks for joining the family. As a thank you, here's a discount on our open pitch session or something like that. Whatever you're going to offer. But I guess you're giving away open pitch in this one, though, aren't you?
Yeah, but Joey usually like on the welcome page for like new people, there's like a $10 discount code they can use on any program. So that's something that you could put in the
PM.
You could do that too. The idea is eventually, though, at the end of the sequence, you want to take something away or give them a limited time chance to use it. So in theory, we want this to be unique enough that you could take it away from them and they feel incentivized to take advantage of it. So but I would either introduce that here, or I would use the PS as a way to tease a piece of content that's coming up next, right? So you're saying what's next. Now that you're part of the community, stay tuned for an email from Joey, blah, blah, blah. So what I would do in this next up, is the same thing I would do in the PS, is I would actually, whatever that next piece of content is going to be, I would tease that. So if you're about to send them 2 really high value pieces of content here, I would tease this, because they're going to read this and go, oh yeah, I want that free webinar that talks about how to pitch to a so-and-so individual, right? Whatever it may be, whatever that piece of content is you're going to send next, tease it here.
Okay. But you're saying the tease should be in the what's next, not in the PS. The PS should be the discount?
That's what I would do. I would tease the content in the what's next, and then I would use the PS to introduce whatever discount code you're going to introduce, because this is going to be your highest open rate email. So let's get this all in here.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. I care about one thing. Brenda Ryder's opportunities to learn. Access to working.
Wait, where are you reading?
I'm actually going back up to the second paragraph.
Oh, gotcha.
I just want to make sure it aligns with the unique sign propositions we talked about. So I'd say, is that first sentence true? Is that the one thing you guys really care about, is about providing writers opportunities to learn from and gain access to working industry professionals? Or is the one thing you care about getting writers to be successful writing and pitching their work?
I mean, I think there's some overlap there.
I would agree there's some overlap. I'm just wondering if the way we're phrasing it is matching up with what they care about, right? So think of it in this vein, right? If somebody's coming to the site for the first time, and maybe they're evaluating you guys versus somebody else, right? And we kind of had this discussion. We talked about the homepage. What do they want to hear that's going to get them to get fired up about you guys, being like, oh, these guys can solve my problem?
I think all of the smaller court, like things that writers are all doing is all leading up and building up to getting representation and having somebody option their script. I think at the end of the day, that is truly why everybody is looking for a resource who can give them and generate opportunities where they can achieve one of those two goals. Yes, they want to improve their craft, but the ultimate big picture goal is to get representation and or sell a project.
I would phrase it that way then. I think, and you guys tell me, because you guys know the space better, but when I read provide writers opportunities to learn from and gain access to working industry professionals, I think, oh, okay, this is just like a mastermind where I get access to working professionals, versus this is a company who's dedicated to teaching me how to sell my work or something.
Yeah, I would say use the thing that's like, we're dedicated to providing the tools and training writers need to succeed. Or the tools and training writers need to succeed in gaining representation and selling their work.
I think the last sentence is great. And I'd maybe even put that into a new paragraph.
You're saying here?
Yeah. But yeah, in just 2 years, we've helped more than 45 writers land representation. Yeah.
I need to get rid of one of these writers here. We care about one thing.
I would say providing writers with the tools and training they need to gain representation and sell their work.
Okay. Then I would say, I'm trying to think, do you have anything visual you could put into this?
There's something that I was thinking of, and it's not mentioned here at all, but this I thought could be an interesting place to show like an image of like the logos of companies that we work with. You know, I know for competitions, it's always a really big selling point. So
yeah, love it. Yeah, I know. What if could you mix that into this, this second line right here somehow? Like, could you, and then put the logos below this? Like, yeah.
Like,
and you can do the logos of the companies that people have actually been signed to.
Yep.
Like Gotham Group, Circle of Confusion, blah, 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 APA.
And I'd even shorten that. And I would just be like companies like ... or companies like : and then put it, just keep it super casual.
I gotta learn how to be free and just.
I'm assuming you guys are super casual with your students, right? You guys aren't super formal, right? I can't imagine Dorian being formal, like overly formal I feel like you call out people. So I'm just starting to think like, let's make sure the phrasing of this matches the personality of the company. 2 years we've helped more than, yeah. And don't worry too much of the copy. I know I'm refining this with you, but it's honestly, the open rate's the most important, and then just keeping it super clean and super clear. But this is good. Top piece is good, and I like the logo idea. Okay, so what's next? Let's see here. I'd almost say, so what's next? I'd almost start with something like, we know you came here looking for help, or something along those lines. Over the next 3 days, we're going to send you this. you know, and be really specific. Yeah. You can say some of our top, top content or something like that, or top tips and tricks or whatever you guys call it to your students. What are you going to send them, Jorge? What's going to be the content?
I'm sorry?
What are you going to send them in the next 2 emails?
Well, in the next email that's below this, which was supposed to be like the about and like part of the indoctrination, like why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
The content I don't think necessarily exists yet, but I thought it's something that we can record.
Okay.
Joey,
don't you guys have a ton of free content though, right? Like, why don't we just leverage something you have?
Yeah, we totally could. I mean, I could just maybe go through the web library. Dorian would know better than I would about like some of the sort of stellar content that we have. So
I think the question would be, what's some content you guys already have that you could leverage that leads towards somebody buying this ultimate product, right? An open pitch session. Like, what would be? Do you have? And we'll wait for Dorian; she gets back. But that's the content we should include. And email too, I think is fine. Like, I think it should totally be from Joey, and it can totally be talking about the company, but also layer in there this free webinar or this free training too, and you can sort of play off each other. So we can talk about that in a second. But what I would say is when Dorian gets back, let's ask her. But in this, what's next? I'd say over the next 3 days, we're going to send you. Be very specific. We're going to send you 2 of our best trainings on this topic and this topic. And those topics should be, specific to the type of thing that you're going to end up selling them on.
Sorry, I had to feed and water my cat.
Well, I have to feed and water my tomato plants.
I do too, actually. My tomato plants, not my cat.
You'll have to bring me some tomatoes when they start.
Yeah, I will. They're I'm only about 2 weeks in, but they're growing fast. I actually need to this weekend go to the get bigger planters.
Yeah, my mom grows lots of vegetables, and her tomato plants are always like insane. She always has 1 billion tomatoes to give away.
The goal.
It's the best. They all come in at the exact same time too, so it's like a 3-week period of time.
Yeah. It's usually like you can't eat them all yourself anyway, so please give me a couple.
Pretty much. So Dorian, we were talking about what's the right content you guys already have that would lead somebody to buying an open pitch session. Like, what free content?
Like, I would say, like, either a video of Joey giving these tips and tricks, or I guess if they're just going to be written.
But don't you guys have a bunch of free content already? Don't you guys have stuff? I thought you guys had like a whole library of free stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of the free stuff is not related to pitching.
Okay.
So, like, I mean, we can always send, Chris Deckard's webinar, How to Pitch Like an A-lister, which is, I think, the exit attempt thing too.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I would just have Joey record like a 5-minute video of his tips.
You guys can do it pretty fast, and that's probably worthwhile doing then.
Yeah, it's not hard. Just Joey would just get on Zoom. It would take him 20 minutes to do. Like,
okay.
He would just give his top tips and tricks, and then that also helps people sort of see, you know, his personality and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's a good idea.
Like his little intro video. Hey guys, and here are my top 3 tips on not looking like an asshole when you're pitching. That's not how he would say it, but
probably what I would do here, Jorge, is I'd even say like break it up. So I'd almost go like, sorry, I'm like taking over here, but like I would like, you're here for help. So over the next 3 days, stay tuned for some must-watch tips on perfecting your pitch and 3 of the most avoidable pitching mistakes. So probably what I would do is I would actually break this up. I would say like, let's go. You're here for help. So over the next 3 days, and I would keep it, like this, and just like bullet point it for them real quick. I don't want to delete what you wrote here, but 3 of the most avoidable pitching mistakes, Marcio, Joey, and then here you go. Here you go. Yeah, I think this is good. And
I mean, I don't even know if do we even have to mention from our CEO, Joey?
I think I like it. I'd say from our CEO, yeah, I like it. Because it just adds some notoriety to the content.
Yeah.
Okay. And honestly, that's great. Let's go and put your. Okay. And I think that's good. Simple, easy. That's what I would start with. So then email 2.
Mm-hmm.
Probably start with, and again, you guys have to decide whether this tone's too casual. I would say, it's Joey from Roadmap Writers. I want to remind you that we'll be drawing our winner of the whatever it is, free open pitch contest the end of the month. In the meantime, if I can spell. I don't know, to enter some pain point, right? So in the meantime, I want to share with you a few of my top pitching mistakes that I see costing our writers jobs or something like that. Like really harness, like what's the pain that these guys are feeling that's getting them to come to you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would literally, start with video, and then, 1 second here. I can't, okay. I'm just thinking here. So I think this is sort of the general structure. But what I would do in this, like this second half piece, I would try to slim this down by like 30 to 50%. Like, see if you can't just cut out some of the fluff of this. But the idea here is, say, hey, it's Joey, maybe the CEO from Roadmap Writers. Just want to remind you that we'll be, drawing our winner of the free open pitch contest at the end of the month. But in the meantime, I want to share with you a few of my top pitching mistakes I see costing our writers, blah, blah, right? And then you give them the content. So that's what they care about, is the content. And now that you've got them hooked on this content, then you can kind of take the liberty to tell them a little bit about who you are and the mission. And probably what I would also do is in some of these, I would insert link to. So if you have other content on the site or products on the site, right, that it's relevant to some of this, I would be linking out to some of those. So like, let's see here. Our pitching opportunities, like, so this should be a link, right?
Yep.
Link to product.
Alan knowing how to use Google Docs, notes, and shit. I don't know how to do that.
I love Google Docs.
I mean, let me ask you, like, this paragraph here, is this like, I mean, this is totally fluff, but is there any value to some version of this?
Yeah.
Where it says that we're different from other people?
100%. Yeah. I would probably cut it down to say, like I would literally say, we're not corporate and not stuffy. We're real people. Let's see here. We're real people here to help our writers achieve the writing critical symbol. It's just a little fluffy, but but the concept of what you're saying here is good, right? Like, you want to differentiate yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the correct idea. I would just be a little more straightforward. I just be like, look, this is what we do. This is why we're different, right? Because that's part of your advantage here, is that you guys have a personality. So showcase it.
Jorge doesn't have a personality.
None. I'm a fucking brick wall.
I can't find a comfortable position on my couch.
Oh.
Those are such first world problems.
I was about to say, that's such a first world problem.
Like, it's the same for me too. I'm like, my back.
This pillow's too flat.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law was here this weekend, and she was like,
I'm sorry.
He's upholstered. And I was like, lady, are you going to pay for the upholstery on this pillows? Because I'm not. I was like, oh, doesn't your flight leave pretty soon? Thanks so much.
You're like, that shit's expensive.
Do you think writers get taken advantage of?
Yes.
100%.
So I want to, like, writers making the same mistakes, right? But really, it's like some of these people probably got taken advantage of, right?
I like taking advantage of because it also, I mean, honestly, I kind of like even saying that better than preyed on. I mean, I think preyed is kind of like it's a little bit of a too harsh of a term. Mm-hmm. I like the idea, like, the whole reason I bring up this story about Joey's mom is I heard him tell that to somebody recently, and I never heard it before. And I was like, holy shit, that's like a great reason of why you would want to do this. Like, you know, a firsthand experience of someone getting ripped off. But
yeah, I think it's like, I love the credibility of it. I just think I'm just trying to kind of
totally
down so that people actually read it, and it hits home.
I mean,
and then
this was a vomit draft, so it was going to be super wordy.
Yeah, totally fine. That's why we're doing this. Yeah, and then my only piece was just make sure you're actually linking out to product, right? Like they're relevant, and like you can do it as a flat out insert right here. Like you could even be like, you know, note, no, you know, check, no, check out our blah blah blah. Insert link to something. So you can, you know, feel free to be like totally off the wall with this, because once you get them in here and if they read this content, they're going to engage. You guys, and what I like about you guys too is that it's a little bit different. You guys aren't just like selling watches, you know what I mean? So this is you guys provide real value to real pain points, and so you should play up the pain points as much as you can to get someone hooked in. But in general, honestly, I think this is pretty good.
Whereas it's like, is your Casio watch not have enough functions? Well, check out our watch.
It's a pretty good copy. What are you talking about? Let's see here.
Kitty.
Something like that. Oh, you already put this here. Sorry. If you want to. So just something casual at the end, like don't forget, I know you mentioned it here, but reiterate, hey, don't forget that 50% off discount for our open fish session ends this week, right? Just remind them there's a time frame on it. And if you wanted to add a tail into that says, you know, our students tell us consistently that, you know, this open pitch is sort of the best pitch session they've ever had. I don't know. If there is some sort of a testimonial or something you relate into this, just to add some social proof, worthwhile to do so.
Even this early in email too. I mean, I'm totally game.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Might as well. You just gave them a crap ton of great content in this up here.
Yeah.
And you led with it. Like this is the tail end. Like, might as well.
Cool. Okay.
Okay. Email 3. Yeah. So what I would do here is I would structure this similarly to this, right? Like, oh, hey, so you know, it's Jorge from Roadmap Writers. We want to follow up with our next piece of advice on pitching. Yeah, that's terrible copy. Don't write that. Which one is this going to be? Which one's this again?
This is email 3. So
We already did avoidable pitching mistakes. How to perfect your pitch.
yeah. Well, no, I mean, I was thinking here to try to sell it from a different angle, right?
Okay.
Is like I was thinking. So the idea here is like, oh, look, check out this clip from awesome producer, who says these awesome things that are will blow your mind. And then saying, hey, this person is just one of the most in-demand execs we have doing open pitch. Like, so saying like, see this awesome person, you can actually have access to them through our open pitch. So kind of coming at it from a different approach while still offering a valuable piece of content. Do you think we should take a different angle?
Not necessarily. I think what I like about email 3 though is, so you have to remember too that not everybody's going to open email 2. So I like making email 3 as essentially the exact same thing as email 2, just a different piece of content and from like a different person, right? So it could be from you, and it could be a video from you or from Joey, with that, one of, the first video is 3 avoidable pitching mistakes, and the next video is how to perfect your pitch, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that way, that gets you through email 3 with like really good content. But I also see your point about Rusty said how the executive would blow our minds with their tips on how to get industry executives excited about your work. Yeah, that's also fine too. I think that's good. I think you could use this too. I just wouldn't structure it as a sale. I would just make sure it's structured as 3 tips from a leading industry executive about how to perfect your pitch or something like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then in the copy below that, yeah, you could hint at and say, and by the way, if you sign up for one of our open pitch sessions,
you can get feedback on your pitch from Sean Robbins or any of the other available executives on our roster from, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, Jorge, I know what you're saying there, and I actually like that now that I think about it. Yeah, I like that. And it keeps it really short and punchy.
We should try to get Sean Robbins to make this video. He's the sexiest producer.
That's exactly who I had in mind. Love it. And he's crazy. He says awesome things and insane things. So he's like a great character to.
And he has the most credits. He's produced like 24 movies, and you've heard of them. So.
Yeah.
Really? Like what kind of stuff? I'm just curious.
Paul Blart, Mall Cop. I mean, he just signed a new first look deal with Paramount. So,
did people people know his name?
They don't know his name. They know his movies.
Okay.
They hardly ever know the name. They only know the movies, really.
And what's his role? Like, what's his title?
He's a producer and partner at Broken Road Productions.
Yeah. I think Joey actually recently crafted an email. Joey who is very good at subject lines. What the fuck?
I'm trying to think what the subject line for this one is, but it's, I would, something like what I would come up with something along the lines of like, 3 tips from the
producer of blah, blah,
blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Name the movie. 3 pitch suggestions from the producer of Mall Cop or whatever.
Yeah, like let's see. Joey did a title like a couple weeks ago. This was for a Mastering High Concept with Paramount deal producer. I mean, everybody knows Paramount, so whether or not you
like that.
Yeah, Paul Blart 2, Night and Day, Zookeeper, Sorcerer's Apprentice. Some of those movies are bombs, but it's all right.
Some of them are bombs, but you've still heard of them.
Yeah, and they're still studio movies, exactly. So
yeah.
Studio movies, yeah.
Okay. So I think this is good. I would work. I think this is fine for a framework. I would just fill in the spots. Then email 4 looks like it needs some work. Okay. So then, so let's talk about email 4, 5, and 6. Then, all right. So, by the way, was that helpful going through those 3 like that? Is that
totally.
good? Okay,
totally.
cool.
And I think I was thinking about it too, sort of like academically, and actually going through this is like it's giving me a better sort of mindset to sort of be in. So
yeah.
email 4, I was thinking of this would be like a big social proof one where right.
So what I would do if we're going to follow the sequence, right? And again, the sequence is suggested, so don't feel like you guys have to follow our model here. But the suggested sequence would be for email 4 would be like just blatantly selling Open Pitch, like blatantly selling it.
Got it. Okay.
Like if you had 30 seconds to pitch somebody why they should buy the Open Pitch session, that is this email, right? So it is.
You should use Emma Steele's testimonial video.
Well, that I would probably use in the social proof one.
So that'd be email 5.
Yeah. Whatever, we're just being somewhere in here.
For sure.
Got a professionally produced testimonial video, and she was like signed to Gersh and blah blah blah.
Then I would that is email 5, 100% use that. Email 4, what I would do is just like you'd pitch it on like a product page, pitch it here.
Yeah.
And I'd probably start off with pain points that it solves. So I'd probably say, whoever it's going to be from, hey, it's from Joey, or hey, it's from Jorge. We're talking to a few of our writers last week that told us they were having issues with this, and this, and name like the 3 big pain points that all of your first-time writers have.
That's such a good entry into that. You're really good at coming up with those scenarios. I mean, I read these things all the time, but then trying to actually apply it, I read this shit every day. I read like 5 of them a day. And so it's like, I mean, I literally just signed up for Social Media Week LA, and I responded to a email that was like, "Hey, blah 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 blah,"
Yeah, it's a formula. It's not like I'm not a copyright genius. It's just
no exactly
stuff. There's a formula to it. So you write a couple of these and you'll get it. But it's start off with those pain points, and then from there you start talking about the benefits of Open Pitch and how Open Pitch solves those specific pains. And I would keep it just super quick, right? And then from there I would mention again the testimonial. So let's actually just outline it for you real quick. That way you can write it. So, what are the benefits of buying Open Pitch, right? Like, what is it? Like critique.
Access.
I can't spell it. Yeah, critiqued by professional, right? Something like that.
Professional.
Professional.
We'll let that go. We'll let it fly.
We're doing it live. Okay. Critique by professional.
We've been doing that all week. Corey just keeps yelling, we'll do it live.
Critique by professional. What was the other one?
Access to, high profile industry executives, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. You guys get the idea, right? So,
yeah.
I hate that. So then, okay, name 3 selling points, and then remind them of the limited time discount. That's it. So that's the general structure I'd put into this one. Yeah. And then go email 5.
Oh no, it's already down here.
Oh, you already got it? Oh, sorry. Oh, there you go. Oh yeah,
title, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I would make this one like super quick. And we actually have, let me see, do I have that PDF still open? Let's open this one up.
Yeah, that Emma Steele video will be really good for email 5.
Yeah, and like do something super simple, right? Like, could be more excited. Like last week we sat down with, Emma Steele, one of our writing students, blah, blah, blah. Here's what she had to say about her most recent open pitch session, and then like insert the video, something like that. Maybe even pull out like a one-line quote from the video and like put that below the video. So just in case somebody doesn't watch it, they still see like a testimonial from her.
Right.
So go ahead. And then.
So this is where we take it away, right?
Yeah. All you're doing in email 6 is basically saying, hey guys, last reminder that 50% off code for an open pitch session ends in 24 hours. So make sure you register your open pitch session before the end of tomorrow, or something like that.
Yep.
Time's up.
Did you watch Michelle Wolf's show on Netflix?
Yeah.
I have not. I've seen the preview for it. Is it fun?
She did a bit on stopping the word "time's up" because now no one else can say "time's up."
Was that on the first episode?
Episode 2.
Oh, okay. I've only seen the first episode. I was like, I don't remember that.
Okay, this sounds good. I mean, and then I just I love the idea of having like just a million different pathways and flows. I mean, I love for like there's below an email that I think I kind of mentioned. I was thinking something along that, but like I'd love for a way for like there to be one from Alex, our education director, to like set up calls and shit with people. Like I just want to come up with, and maybe that could be after people have actually signed up, that can be like another track to get people to join one of our month-long, be a part of our career writer program. But we could build that at some other time, as long as we have our sort of our initial flow for new users.
So I think again, we're talking about different sort of purchase cycles, right? Like different cycles. So like this is the person who has not bought. Like the second somebody opts into an open pitch, right? Like they get moved to a totally different category in the way that we can talk about what that post-purchase upsell process looks like, because for you guys, that's really important. If they buy this thing, I think it's $30, right? That's fine. But what you guys really care about is getting them into your, career writer program, right? Mm-hmm. And so how do you start to upsell them along that pathway? So we'll definitely talk about that. For now, what I would do is I would get this piece written, done, in place, and then get them launched, because this is the low-hanging fruit stuff. This is the stuff where people are just coming to the site, just browsing around. Like, let's get them, let's hook them, let's pull them into something, and let's nurture them and get them to buy something. And then once they buy, there's lots of things you guys can do to pitch them on the next level. For one, once they buy and they have that experience, they're going to be getting your daily or sometimes 2 times a day, mass emails.
That's right.
So they're already going to be in a massive sales cycle from that alone. But yeah, if I were you guys, I'd be starting to segment some of that out and create flows in the back end, but we'll talk about that later. Cool. Okay. So I think you're probably in pretty good shape for this, right, Jorge?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then what I'd say is go in the templates we uploaded. Again, these are more product specific templates because most brands we work with tend to have physical products or like a very specific digital product. So for these, they are going to be more copy heavy unless you have some imagery in here. And I think what we talked about last time with Brandon is that Brandon had some like cover photos and things that you guys could insert into these pop-ups as imagery. I just want to make sure we have some kind of imagery for you guys, even though they're digital products, because it's just going to be really important to pull them in with something visual beyond just copy when we're doing an exit intent that offers like a webinar, or if we're doing like a contest that offers, win a free, and it's not going to be a win a free alpha this time, it's going to be win a free pitch session. We need some sort of, image we can put to the right of this that's of a pitch session.
Yeah, Brandon's good at that stuff. We just have to show him what we want.
Yeah, okay.
And then he'll design something.
So what I would do is I'd show these to Brandon, show him like the templates. These are just the layouts, like sort of the size, the titling, the type of copy that we see work really well and get high opt-ins. And so the trick here is just jump into these templates and just tweak them for what you're going to offer. So instead of offering a free outfit giveaway, we're offering a free pitch session. So it's just literally trading that out. And then we'll launch and we'll see how the opt-in rates look. Cool. All right. That's good. Doreen, do you want to talk about the homepage here real quick?
Sure. I'm just boiling some eggs.
That's a random.
I just got up and I'm hungry and I want some soft-boiled eggs.
Soft-boiled eggs are good.
Yeah.
So it's looking good. We need to get this logo smaller, obviously.
Yeah.
Just shoots this up. But besides that, I think it's
stuff Brandon still has to fuck around with.
Yeah. I would let Brandon jump in here and just sort of clean things up. But overall, the structure is correct. So right market sell, real world solution, develop market, and sell your script to the industry. I'd almost make this bigger. Like I would make this text bigger because I think you're losing people over here. So that would be a big piece I'd change. Maybe even maybe make these more than just one word, right? So speak to the target, right? So it's not transparency, but it's
trustworthiness, not scammy.
Yeah. Or hosted by working professionals, right? Or working industry professional. I want somebody to be able to scroll down here and go, oh, okay, this is actually pertains to me because I'm a writer, right? I write scripts. Curated one-of-a-kind tiered screenwriting program with a proven track record. All programs are hosted by working industry professionals. Always, let's know exactly who you're working with. I'd say hosted or industry professional hosted or hosted by industry professionals. I would be super clear over what this is. Innovation, I would say tiered screenwriting program for proven track record.
And what about
settings? All 100% online, so writers can participate from anywhere in the world. It's not punchy enough.
Yeah, those were kind of my first attempts. Like, basically, I was just like, this is the pain point we should hit here, or the unique selling proposition. But yeah, it needs to be like reworded.
Yeah, we have to work on these a little bit. I could think about these a little bit more too, but mainly these are just too vague. So it's not that the ideas and the concepts out here aren't correct. It's just that these titlings are too vague. So we'll have to think about. Let me think about that. This section is, hold on. Concept there is right. I think just it's visually really confusing.
Yeah, it's too busy. Like, Brandon's gonna fix all the graphics and shit on that.
Cool. I would just let Brandon do it. But the concept's right. Your 4 blocks, these are good, but just it's too busy to the eye. So let him mess with that. Social proof, awesome. Career writer program, open pitch sessions. What I would do is I would provide a little subcopy underneath these.
Okay.
Because I don't know what the career writer program is, and I don't know what an open pitch session. Well, maybe I know what an open pitch session is, but I probably don't know what the career writer program is, right? So, but I would add some subcopy that just explains what this is, so that I actually want to learn more.
Cool.
Testimonials are great. I'd almost say, unless you got an image of the individual, probably get rid of the image.
Okay.
Just make it text. Keep it clean. I don't think this adds any value. I think it just makes it look like it's filler content. But again, my guess is Brandon's going to come in here and give you some suggestions. But I would make this just copy, because you also have imagery up here. So I'd make this just copy down here.
Cool.
Then the other piece too is once you get the pop-up in place for this open pitch session contest, I would probably add a section down here at the bottom that's probably another opt-in to win. That way, even if they exit out of the pop-up to win the open pitch contest, they can still opt in on the homepage somewhere.
Cool.
Okay, and then we'll think about the language on these. The placing of them is correct though.
Cool.
And then make this bigger. Okay, cool. All right. So let's do this. Jorge, if you want to craft that email content, feel free to shoot it over to me. Same thing when you guys do those just pop-ups, let me know. I'll jump in and I can tweak the settings and stuff for you too. And then next week, what we're going to do is let's focus on the next level pages, so the sort of the general collections and then the actual product pages themselves. And Dorian, we can talk about what needs to go onto those product pages specifically. And then we can also start talking about abandoned carts. Do you guys measure that at all, your abandoned carts? Do you know how many people are coming in and actually adding stuff to their cart to buy, or trying to buy something and then leaving? Do you know those numbers?
No, but I think we can get that on the Shopify dashboard.
Yeah, we can look at it in the dashboard and see. I'll take a look at it before our call next week and look at it. I just didn't know if it was dramatic or not. And then after we do all that, Jorge, we'll start talking about emails that come after somebody buys. So we'll get into those extended flows after that.
Okay, cool. In terms of and the email should be, so what system are we going to build the emails in then?
So these are going to go, so yeah, good question. So it depends on what we're going to go for email system wise. Man.
Because essentially that's like, I want to know like when, we finish these, and then do we all together next week, like, push the button live so that we have our Just Uno ads firing and our, we start this email funnel.
We don't have to do it. We don't have to all sit together and press the button. Like you and I can email back and forth and we can get it done. It's just not hard to do once they're set up, but I would like to take a look at them once they're set up. So here's my advice. I think you guys should move over to Klaviyo anyway. That's my perspective, just because it's better. It integrates better with Shopify. It's going to be a better solution for Shopify, but it is more expensive. So I think, Dorian, what you guys should probably do is make a decision as to, are you okay moving over even if it doesn't solve your first email problem? Does that still make sense for you guys? If the answer is no, and you guys are perfectly happy with MailChimp, then let's just do it on MailChimp. What we're going to end up finding, though, is this. To your point, Jorge, about doing, after somebody buys, right, like doing flows after that upsell them, Klaviyo is going to be way better at saying, okay, somebody bought an open pitch session. Okay, we're going to segment them and put them into this flow, right? Versus MailChimp, which is, it's a little bit, you can only segment by sort of the vendor types, right? So you can do more general upsells, but in Klaviyo, we're going to be able to get really, really specific on specific products, specific collections, and you can just do better segmentations because it's built to integrate into Shopify's different collections and tags and products. So it's going to be, I think honestly, you guys are going to end up, I think Klaviyo is the better choice. I think you're going to end up making money by going with them because you're going to be able to segment better. Because you're going to be able to say, somebody bought this product, we're going to put them through this flow because open pitch, $35, we should sell them on this next. But if they bought, whatever, something that's more expensive, now we need to upsell them on our career writer program. So we want to be able to have that level of segmentation. That's my suggestion. But ultimately, it's up to you guys.
Okay.
Cool.
And if you guys are doing over $1 million a year or $1 million a year, I mean, having that level of segmentation, I think is worth it. Cool. But let me know. But yes, Jorge, what I can do is I'll help you. I can show you how to set this up.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cool. So write them out and get them in text form first in Google and then send them over to me. I'll take another look at them. And then get the Just Do No pop-ups designed. And then I can show you how to set the rules up on those. It's really, really easy.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool, guys. Sounds like a game plan. What else? Anything else?
Let me see if I had anything in my questions. Questions for Allie. Nope, I'm good.
Cool. All right, guys.
I finally figured out how to use Shogun better.
Oh yeah? Do you like it?
Yeah, but I emailed them because I was like, I can't get this fucking testimonials thing to look right. Like, I liked how it looked, how the theme one looked. How do I make it look like that? And they were like, well, you should put a section inside the column. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you could put a section inside the column. I thought the column went inside the section.
No, that was actually one thing I was asking is, and I know I mentioned this before with Dorian, is like I would love for continuity to keep the look of the competition page the same, even though it would specifically be like it would look very different from the rest of the site. So like I went in like to Wix and I copy and pasted a bunch of like the HTML in there. Mm-hmm. But like, I mean, do you have somebody that can, but the nav is still like the Wix nav and the footer is still like, do you have someone who can go in and gut that code from there so that
you just have to choose the different page type, the page type without the header and footer.
Okay.
When you make it in Shogun.
Maybe I'll have you show me.
I will Shogun you that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to cut that out with Shogun pretty easily.
Nice.
Yeah, and honestly, at this point, Dorian, you're probably a better at Shogun than I am because it's still pretty new, and you're probably more into the weeds than I am right now.
I like it better than it has more flexibility. It's just getting to know what it is that like how to make it do the things that you want. Mm-hmm.
I think it's the right move for you guys. You guys are going to launch so many new products, and you're going to do landing pages. It's just the right choice, and it ties directly into Shopify. It's the right way to go.
Yeah.
Cool. All righty, guys. That's all I got. Let's reconvene next week, and then Jorge, let's touch base in between on these emails so we can get those things knocked out. And same thing with Just Do No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
do you want to get on again and we'll do the Just Juno thing now?
I was just about to text you.
Aw, aren't you cute?
Perfect. Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds
Okay.
good, guys.
Thanks,
All
All right,
Alex.
guys. Chat
Bye.
later. All right, bye.